The Emperor's Offer. The sky over Geneva burned gold, not with sunset. Earth hadn't seen the sun in 3 days. The light came from above, from the 100-kilometer-wide disk that hung in the atmosphere like a second moon made of metal and arrogance. The Valdos Imperium had arrived, and they wanted everyone to know it. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the rooftop of the United Earth Council headquarters, arms crossed, jaw tight. Around her, diplomats whispered nervously. Adjusting ties and straightening jackets like grooming would somehow matter to the beings descending from that ship. She didn't bother. Her uniform was crisp, her posture military straight, but her eyes promised violence to anyone who looked close enough. "They're here to help," someone muttered behind her. "A politician." Chen didn't turn around. "Sure they are," she said quietly. The landing craft broke through the clouds like a knife through silk. Sleek, ancient, covered in markings that predated human civilization by millennia, it settled onto the plaza with barely a sound, anti-gravity engines humming a note that made Chen's teeth ache. The ramp descended with theatrical slowness. Emperor Thexar IX emerged first. He was magnificent. 7 feet of crystalline blue skin, robes that seemed woven from starlight itself, eyes like twin suns burning with the wisdom of 10,000 years. Behind him came his honor guard, warriors in armor that made Earth's best battlesuits look like tin cans held together with hope. The Emperor smiled. It was the smile of a teacher greeting particularly slow students. "People of Earth," his voice echoed without amplification, reaching every ear on the planet through technology. "Humanity couldn't begin to understand. We have watched you from afar, watched you crawl from your caves, watched you split the atom, watched you reach barely for the stars." Chen's fists clenched. "You are young," Thexar continued, descending the ramp with the grace of someone who'd never doubted his superiority. "Impulsive, violent. You war among yourselves over resources, religions, borders drawn in dirt. You are children playing with weapons you barely comprehend." The Secretary General of the United Earth Council stepped forward, hand extended in greeting. Thexar regarded it the way one might regard a dog offering its paw. He took the hand anyway. "Mercy?" his expression said. "The Valdos Imperium spans 3,000 star systems," Thexar announced. "We have kept peace in this galaxy for 12 millennia. We have seen species like yours rise and fall. Some we guided to greatness, others—" He paused, letting the threat hang in the air like smoke. "Others we had to guide in different ways." "Your Majesty," the Secretary General began, voice shaking slightly. "Earth welcomes your—" "We offer you protection," Thexar interrupted. Not rudely, simply as if the Secretary General's words were irrelevant. "Join the Imperium. Accept our guidance. Learn from civilizations that mastered the stars while your ancestors were still learning fire. In 2,000 years, perhaps you will be ready to stand as our equals." 2,000 years. Chen caught the eye of Dr. Marcus Webb in the crowd, head of Earth's Advanced Research Division, the man who'd been screaming warnings about alien contact protocols for a decade. His face was stone, but she saw the calculation behind his eyes. The same calculation running through her own mind. This wasn't an offer. It was a collar with jewels on it. What does protection entail? Chen found herself speaking before she could stop herself. Heads turned. The Emperor's burning gaze fixed on her. "Admiral Chen, isn't it?" Thexar smiled again. That same patient, condescending smile. "I've read your military history. Impressive for your species. You conquered your own moon at 40. Led the Mars Defense Initiative. A natural warrior. You didn't answer my question, Your Majesty." Silence fell like a hammer. The diplomats around her looked ready to faint. Thexar's honor guard shifted slightly, hands moving toward weapons that could probably vaporize the entire plaza. The Emperor laughed, a sound like crystal bells. "Direct. I admire that. Very well, Admiral. Protection means you contribute to the Imperium's defense. Your soldiers will serve in our fleets. Your scientists will share their work. Your resources will be managed by those with experience. In return, we ensure no hostile species troubles your little world. We guide your development. We prevent you from destroying yourselves. We're doing fine on our own. Are you?" Thexar gestured broadly at the planet below. "Your ice caps melt. Your oceans choke on plastic. You nearly exterminated yourselves 3 times in the last century alone. Without our intervention, you have perhaps 200 years before. We'll figure it out." You will accept. The warmth drained from Thexar's voice like heat from a corpse. The alternative is unpleasant. There are species in this galaxy who do not share our patience. Pirates, conquerors, things that would harvest your world for parts. Only the Imperium's protection stands between Earth and annihilation. The Secretary General was nodding frantically. Other world leaders looked ready to sign anything put in front of them. Chen saw it happening in real time, humanity bowing its head, accepting the leash. Thexar produced a data crystal, held it out to the Secretary General. The treaty is simple. Sign it and Earth joins the family of civilized worlds. Refuse. He smiled that terrible, patient smile again. But you won't refuse. You're too intelligent for that, too evolved. That night in a secured bunker beneath the Rockies, Sarah Chen, Marcus Webb, and a dozen others gathered in absolute silence. No electronic devices, no computers, just paper, pen, and rage. 2,000 years, someone whispered. He called us children. Another voice, tight with fury. Marcus Webb spoke carefully, each word chosen like ammunition. They haven't invented anything new in 10 millennia. Did you see their ships? Beautiful, ancient, unchanged. They've been using the same technology, the same tactics for longer than human civilization has existed. Chen leaned forward, voice barely above a whisper. They're stagnant. Completely, Webb confirmed. And they think we'll stay primitive forever. That we'll keep bowing, keep serving, keep being grateful for their scraps. A long silence. Then Chen smiled, a smile that would have made Thexar 9 reconsider everything. Let them think that, she said softly. Let them think we're obedient little children, grateful for their wisdom. Meanwhile, we learn, Webb finished. We adapt. We prepare. How long? Someone asked. Chen's smile widened, sharp as broken glass. However long it takes, 5 years, 50, 500, doesn't matter. They think in millennia they'll never see us coming. Outside? In Geneva, the Secretary General signed the treaty with a golden pen provided by Emperor Thexar Nam. Humanity officially became a protectorate of the Valdos. Imperium, the Empire celebrated. They shouldn't have. Humanity had just learned the most important lesson in its violent history. When someone puts a collar on you, smile while you study the lock. The countdown to rebellion had begun. The yoke 5 years later, the Valdos called it integration. Humanity had uglier words for it. Captain James Morrison stood at attention in the mustering yard of Forward Base. Arcturus, a military installation that hadn't existed on any Earth map 5 years ago. Around him, 2,000 human soldiers stood in perfect formation, their new Imperium-issued armor gleaming under alien suns. 3 suns, to be precise. Morrison still wasn't used to that. You are the fortunate ones, Legate Vraxis announced from the platform above. The Valdos commander was smaller than Emperor Thexar, his crystalline skin more green than blue, but his contempt was just as vast. Selected from billions to serve the greatest empire in galactic history. Your primitive world contributes soldiers. This is your honor. Your privilege, Morrison's jaw clenched. Privilege. Right. 2,000 soldiers, conscripted under the treaty's mutual defense clause. Taken from families, shipped across the galaxy, trained to fight in wars they didn't understand for causes they didn't believe in. Also, the Valdos didn't have to risk their own precious hides. You will deploy to the Korvath front in 6 hours, Vraxis continued. The enemy is numerous but disorganized. Your orders are simple. Advance, engage, hold the line until Valdos reinforcements arrive. He paused, that familiar condescending smile appearing. Try not to embarrass your species. The projection behind him showed the combat zone, a hellscape of volcanic rock and atmospheric poison. Intel projection scrolled past. Enemy strength 3 times their number, minimal air support, expected casualties 40%. 40%. Morrison had seen this before. Hell, they'd all seen it. The Valdos used human units as shock troops, as expendable frontline forces to soften up enemy positions before the real soldiers arrived. Cannon fodder dressed up as partnership. After the briefing, Morrison found Lieutenant Sophia Reyes in the armory, methodically checking her weapon for the 3rd time. 40%, she said without looking up. Could be worse. Could be honest. Reyes finally met his eyes. Dark circles underneath, none of them slept well anymore. They're sending us to die, Captain, again, just like Belix 7, just like the Strand incursion. Morrison glanced around, ensuring they were alone. Keep your voice down. Why? Sudden fury flashed across her face. What are they going to do, send us to a war zone? Oh, wait, Sophia. My brother was in the first wave at Belix 7, she continued, voice shaking. KIA within 20 minutes because the Valdos tactical assessment missed 3 enemy bunker complexes. But hey, the mission was a success. Only cost 800 human lives to secure a mining operation that profits the Imperium. Morrison said nothing. What could he say? She was right. Meanwhile, Earth Dr. Marcus Webb worked in a laboratory that officially didn't exist under a mountain range whose location was classified above top secret. Around him, humanity's brightest minds, carefully selected, quietly recruited, bent themselves toward a single purpose, understanding the technology their protectors would never willingly share. This is beautiful, Dr. Yuki Tanaka whispered. Her holographic display showing the inner workings of a Valdos plasma conduit they'd managed to salvage from a decommissioned transport ship. Elegant, efficient, and completely unchanged from models we've seen in their historical archives. 10,000 years, Webb muttered, making notes. 10,000 years and they haven't improved the design even slightly. Why would they? Admiral Chen's voice came from the doorway. She'd been visiting more frequently lately, her official duties as Imperium liaison officer providing perfect cover. When you think you're perfect, why innovate? Webb turned, grinning like a kid with a new toy. Sarah, you need to see this. We've been analyzing their entire technological tree. Weapons, engines, shields, everything. Know what we found? Stagnation? Complete stagnation. Their advanced plasma cannons? We've reverse-engineered the principles. Given 2 years, maybe 3, we can build equivalents. Their FTL drives? Complex, sure, but understandable. Their supposedly impenetrable shields? He pulled up another display. Vulnerable to specific resonance frequencies that they've never bothered to patch because no one's challenged them in millennia. Chen leaned forward, studying the data with predatory intensity. How many people know this? In this room? Everyone. Outside? Webb's expression darkened. The network's growing, carefully, slowly. Research cells on Mars, Luna, the Belt colonies. All working on pieces of the puzzle, none knowing the full picture except us. Smart. Chen pulled up a chair, her voice dropping. Because it's worse than we thought out there. I've been reviewing casualty reports, the real ones, not the sanitized versions the Imperium releases. Human units are taking 70–80% losses in some engagements. They're using our people as disposable shields. How is Earth accepting this? Chen's laugh was bitter. Earth doesn't know. The Imperium controls the news feeds. As far as the average citizen knows, our soldiers are serving with honor in peacekeeping operations. The families get death notifications with fancy medals attached. Closed casket funerals. Everyone plays along. Tanaka spoke up, her voice quiet but sharp. My cousin was in the 7th Expeditionary. Killed on Corvath 4 last month. The official report said, heroic defense against overwhelming odds. I hacked the actual after-action report. Her hands trembled slightly. They were ordered to hold a position with no strategic value, no support, no extraction plan. Just hold until they died. Why? To teach us our place, Chen said flatly. To remind us we're subordinate, expendable. Silence fell over the lab like ash. Webb finally spoke. How long before we can fight back? Fight the Valdos Imperium? Chen shook her head. Marcus, they control 3,000 star systems. Their fleet could sterilize Earth in an afternoon. We need 5 years, Webb interrupted. Maybe 10. We're learning faster than they realize, adapting their technology, improving it, innovating in ways they've forgotten how to do. But we need time, resources, and... He hesitated. We need something to unite humanity. Right now, most people are comfortable. The Imperium provides medicine, technology, stability. Yes, our soldiers die, but not their children. Not yet. So we wait for things to get worse? We wait for the right moment, Webb corrected. And we prepare. Every day we get stronger. Every day they get more complacent. Chen stood, moving to the window that showed nothing but mountain rock. There are 23,000 human soldiers deployed across the galaxy right now. 23,000 reasons to burn their empire down. Soon, Webb promised. Not soon enough. Corvath 4. The front lines, the attack came at dawn. Not that Morrison could tell on this god-forsaken rock. 3 suns meant no real night, just variations of oppressive brightness. Contact front. The shout came from 2nd Platoon's position a split second before the world exploded. The Korvath were insectoid horrors the size of trucks, their plasma weapons turning the volcanic rock into molten glass. They came in waves, hundreds, thousands, exactly as the intelligence reports had underestimated. Again, Morrison's company fought with the desperate fury of the abandoned. No Valdo support materialized. No reinforcements, no air cover, just 2,000 humans against an army, holding a line that meant nothing to anyone except the slaves ordered to die on it. Fall back to secondary positions. Morrison screamed into the comm. Fighting retreat. Do not break formation. They fell back step by bloody step. Around Morrison, soldiers died with Valdos-issued weapons in their hands, protecting Valdos interests, buying time for Valdos reinforcements that would arrive, if at all, only after the real fighting was done. Lieutenant Reyes went down hard, her leg shredded by plasma fire. Morrison dragged her to cover, applied emergency foam, kept moving. 40% casualties. They'd passed that hours ago, Captain. Sergeant Chen, no relation to the Admiral, different war, same meat grinder, collapsed beside him. We can't hold this position. We need to evacuate. No extraction authorized, Morrison said through gritted teeth. Then we die here? Morrison looked at his soldiers. Earth's finest, humanity's best, dying to hold a line on a planet they'd never heard of 6 months ago. Something broke inside him. Something the Valdos had been slowly cracking for 5 years. He opened a direct channel to Legate Vraxis, still safe in orbital command. This is Captain Morrison, requesting immediate extraction. We've held the line, completed the objective. My people need... Denied. Vraxis's voice was bored. Hold position until relieved. Half my command is dead or dying. Then the other half can surely hold a few more hours. Your sacrifice honors the Imperium, Captain. The line went dead. Morrison stared at the communicator. Around him, his soldiers looked to him for orders, for hope, for anything that made sense of this slaughter. He thought of Admiral Chen's eyes when she'd briefed him before deployment. That look that said, remember this. Remember who did this to you, Sergeant, Morrison said quietly. New orders. Fighting retreat to the Canyon System, Grid 774. We hold there until Valdos reinforcements arrive. But we hold on our terms. No more suicide stands. Sir, that contradicts. I don't give a damn what it contradicts. Morrison's voice was ice and fire. We're bringing our people home. As many as we can. The Imperium can call it whatever they want. Something flickered across his soldiers' faces. Not quite hope, not yet. But recognition, understanding. They weren't the Imperium soldiers anymore. They were Earth's. And Earth remembered. 3 days later, Geneva, the Secretary General of the United Earth Council, met with Emperor Thexar's diplomatic envoy in a ceremony broadcast across the planet. Smiles, handshakes, declarations of eternal partnership. In the secured bunker beneath the Rockies, Admiral Chen watched the feed with 50 others. The network. The resistance that didn't yet have a name. Korvath 4 casualty report just came in, someone announced quietly. 58%. Faces hardened around the room. Captain Morrison's unit disobeyed direct orders, Chen said into the silence. Retreated without authorization. Saved 300 lives by refusing to die when told. She looked around the room. The Imperium is investigating him for insubordination. Korvath 4 casualty report just came in, someone announced quietly. 58%. Faces hardened around the room. Captain Morrison's unit disobeyed direct orders, Chen said into the silence. Retreated without authorization. Saved 300 lives by refusing to die when told. She looked around the room. The Imperium is investigating him for insubordination. Good, Marcus Webb said. Everyone turned. Good, let them investigate. Let them show exactly what they think of soldiers who value human lives over Valdo's pride. Let them make martyrs. Chen smiled. That terrible, patient smile. The yoke is heavy, she said softly. But every day it teaches us why it needs to be broken. 5 years ago, humanity bowed. Today, she pulled up data. Casualty reports, resource extraction rates, population displacement figures. Today we stop pretending this is partnership. Today we start counting debts, and when do we collect? Someone asked. Chen's smile widened. When they've forgotten we know how to fight, when they're so comfortable they've stopped watching the livestock. Outside, the Imperium celebrated another year of peaceful cooperation. Inside, in the dark places beneath mountains and behind smiles, humanity sharpened its knives. The Empire thought it had tamed Earth. It had only taught Earth what empires were made of, and how they burned.